Project 95, taking it up a notch. 12/7/95, Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls, New York. Reviving Niagara lipstick perfume. Listen to this Reba right now. This Reba on coke and meth. It's as Roman stated in his perspectives video. Fastest Reba ever has to be. He's been crunching the numbers, and it's looking that way. I remember commenting on an early, maybe it wasn't this tour. There was a really fast Reba, and I made a comment. I'm like, this is up there. He quickly corrected me on that. But there's so much lore to this show. I shan't dawdle anymore with this. So I left you at Lemoyne in the wee hours of December 6th. Nothing was going on December 6th. I got a call December 6th. My old man had tracked me down in Syracuse. Hey, you gotta get home. We got 2 pool tables to do tomorrow, meaning today, the 7th. And I'm like, come on. So I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll be there. This is last night. So I'm like, I'm not leaving now. Like, I'm going to stay here. I'll just get up wicked early and drive home and put in these pool tables. But the issue was the show was, it was in Niagara Falls, right? I'm from Clarence Center, so we were working in the Buffalo area. So I get up at the ass crack and I drive home, and I'm just trudging to these unsuspecting people's homes to put in 7-foot slate pool tables with my dad. I made it, and we put in, this is similar to, oh no, that hasn't happened yet. My bad. I'm thinking ahead. We were lucky that the show was in Niagara Falls, I guess. Now I had gotten a ticket for my brother. I just posted a video of his recounting the events of this show. So a little backstory on that. He had just turned 14 at the time. So he was in middle school. And he was another of my Phish pupils. I'm like, come to the show with me. And he was, he was in middle school, so he sucked. So I got a ticket for him, and I'm like, all right, tell your coach, blah, blah. So my worry was, I wanted to get up front for this one, because it wasn't just me and my brother going. Most of the Tyler house, pictured in the initial post, 139 Tyler, just past Parkside Candies, if you're a Buffalonian. They were all going. So I think Bob, Sonny, Romans, Phil, I have to assume, like, Kazara, Shinter, Vespucci was there, who lived with me at Merrimack. I feel like Baudo was there. Must have been. I went to Pittsburgh with him. So this was like a big sort of congregation of what would become Jam Boys. And this didn't happen too often, even historically, like where this many of our friends were together at the same show. And we weren't really together, like I said. I was working, and then I had to race over to the junior high, pick up my brother, race out to Niagara Falls. I mean, it's not 2 minutes away, and I'm trying to give him this Phish experience, right? So I'm like, let's get front row and really, really give him the elite package. So I remember it being like brick ass cold. Um, and I had to, much like my brother said, he had to get out of practice early. I had to get out of work early, which must still annoy my dad. Having to be like, hey, I gotta go pick up Joff for this. He's like, whatever, go. So I go, I pick him up, and we get to, but I didn't see those guys at the show. All those guys I was talking about. We went separately, and then I was in the front row. Those guys were back, middle of the pack. And I remember correctly, my memory is that that's what's going on. I remember it. This is my memory of Niagara Falls Convention Center. It might as well have been a warehouse. Like, it was all floor, and there were like the equivalent of maybe of bleachers on the sides, if there even was that. No one was in the bleachers. The bleachers were where you went to sit. It felt like a high school dance, honestly. A bigger room, but that feeling of like there were some people just sprinkled around the bleachers who were just like taking a break or whatever, but everybody was packed on the floor, and it was a flat floor, and it was just this warehouse basically. So my brother and I get there, and I'm like, yeah, he's again 14. Like, think about that. He doesn't fucking know anything about anything. So he's trusting that I'm gonna be his Phish Sherpa for the evening, and I drag him up. We get in early enough, and we get right to the rail. I was doing this for him. I'd mentioned before, on my way back east, like, I stopped caring about being close and like the rail and all that stuff. But I'm like, I wanted to give him a good experience. I wanted him to want to come back, right? So we get there, and this show just kind of came out of nowhere. It has this, for me, it has a feel of, it was the 98 E Center Dark Side of the Moon show in 95, if that makes any sense. Just kind of, it was another stop along the way. I don't think anyone thought, oh, just wait till we get to Niagara Falls. Like, it just had this unassuming feeling to the whole night. And then as this show, it's one of those shows that as it was happening, I felt like, oh, this is a good one. This is something, I'm going to be glad I took these notes, right? That's kind of what I was, that's what I was thinking. And, right. I mean, I'm going as God intended, bro. No live Phish for me on this one. I'm just drinking in the 1995 right now. Old home place, whatever. Mike had a silver tie on. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I noted it. I wrote it down. The last time I was this close in Buffalo, I told this story, was my second show of all time, which was the 4/10/94 show, which I mentioned in another post. And a bunch of us were there. Sonny talked about it in his videos, and I was there. I got front row, and I didn't. This is only my second show, and I had heard that, oh, if you throw a balloon up on stage that has a song, they'll play it, right? Again, I was a moron. So I thought I'd also heard like, oh, if you just throw something at, like, yeah, they'll just do whatever you ask them to do, basically. So I came prepared. This was the '94 second show. I'm on the rail right in front of Mike, and I had brought this Guns N' Roses t-shirt, thinking that I'm gonna throw this up to Mike. He's gonna look at it, and he's gonna go, "Hey guys, cue up Sweet Child of Mine. Ready? 2, 3." They're gonna just go into a Guns N' Roses song. Like, I had heard this about this band, and it's not entirely untrue, but my sort of understanding of it was so obtuse. So this I had memories of that. Like that's probably what my brother felt like at the time in Niagara Falls, just 3 years later. And now I'm this Phish pro, and he's the noob, and he's like just taking it all in. I didn't bring a shirt. I would do much better than that on this night. So the Curtain DC bag gets talked about a lot. Just fluid right into it. Like, again, setting the tone. If you think about Curtain, like tempo, right? The DC bag, you start to feel this. Holy shit! As Romans put it, here we go, right? And the first set was just kind of a blur. Demand has that fervent pace, right? Rift is, I mean, it might be the fastest song they play. Then a mid-set Slave kind of brings you back in, but in kind of an unexpected way, for sure. 2 exclamation points for that mid first set Slave, right? And then Agayute, which I've talked about this whole tour, like, thought it was done. They brought it back on Halloween, and now they're kind of mixing it in. God damn, right now. Isn't it funny how, like, I know this Reba Jam note for note, and I heard it live 30 years ago, and every time I've maybe heard it 10 times since, and I know it. Like, there are jams from my formative Phish years that still echo in my soul, basically. Bouncing, whatever, it happens. And then out of nowhere, from the top rope, a 5-point possum drops, right? And Roman's talked about this too. I still take a 94 over a 95 possum, but these 95s are absolute monsters. Compton Terrace, chief among them. This one is up there, just peak after peak, and just absolute smoke shows. So this sort of frenetic first set ends, and I'm kind of like, look at what I've given you, to my brother. And it only gets better from here. So set break comes, and we're just kind of, standing there on the rail. Connie spots me, and she comes, through the little, she's on the other side of the rail. So she walks over. She's like, hey, I hadn't talked to her since I don't even know. I saw her in UMass, but just from a distance. I didn't say anything to her. So anyway, she comes over and she's like, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah. We kind of exchange pleasantries. I'm like, this is my brother. And she's like, oh, you guys want to go back tonight? And I'm like, do we want to go back tonight? Of course we want to go back tonight. So as I'm having this conversation with Connie and my brothers here, and this will surprise no one who knows Rob Vespucci at all. Vespucci, who knows where he had been and who he had been with, he comes worming his way through the crowd up to me. I don't know if he saw me from the bleachers and made his way over. He kind of like, hey, Vonner, what's up? And he just Vespucci's his way into a backstage pass just out of nowhere. I don't even know if I knew he was at the show. And he comes, and you notice my notes, it says Red Rob. Rob Vespucci, he had red hair. So brilliant nickname. I said I went to junior high, elementary school with him all through high school, and lived with him at Merrimack. R.I.P. Vespucci. And he just, like I said, he Vespucci's his way into our little thing, our back. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, Vespucci's here, sure. So she's like, all right, meet me over here after the show. And now I'm like, yes, like legendary older brother status unlocked at this point, right? Like, I'm sure I made jokes about, I don't have to get you another Christmas present or birthday present for the rest of your life. I mentioned in the notes, Connie is queen, and she certainly was that night. Because again, I hadn't planned on that. So now the second set, when you have that in your back pocket, we're going backstage in an hour and a half. Like, you are amped. Vespucci stayed with us for most of the second set. Then he kind of, who knows, he just Vespucci'd away. And then he ended up meeting us back there. I'll get to that though. So then the second set comes out. They open with Split, and it's dark and it's kind of extended, and it's kind of, it was the vibe of this show, I felt like. And my brother asked about Split openers. It's a small percentage. It's as small a percentage a closer as it is an opener, historically. So I don't think they had done it this tour, at least if you're going to use that sort of metric. Strange Design, they played this song. It's called Fog. Just blew my mind. Still blowing my mind that I'm not writing. And I can't remember if I was writing Fog to be a dick, to like be funny, ironically, or if I just didn't know that it was called Theme from the Bottom. Or not Theme from the Bottom. That's the other one. But I think this is the first official version that's called Taste. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like I saw that in one of the set lists. Maybe I don't know. I should edit that out. With a pop goes this Reba, and then the Julius. The Julius doesn't disappoint either. But the Reba has everything you want from a Reba, right? It's got pace. They go through the compose section like just meticulously at that pace. I saw a tweet. I don't know. It was a couple years ago, and it was like a clip of this Reba, and the tweet was like, "Oh, don't 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 worry. This is just Phish playing the the composed portion of Reba in double time. It's fine. Don't look. Don't be distracted." Um, the Reba, this got 3 exclamation points. You're seeing the exclamation points start to come out, and that's more of a testament to the show than to my like the exclamation points. You could argue to some degree have become more about me than the music. And back then, I think it was the other way around as I was trying to figure it out. Now I almost feel compelled to give a rating. And at the time, it was just like I was moved to give a rating, if that makes any sense. So a 3 exclamation point Reba, and it is they fuck up coming out of the jam. They miss the change there, but it's like at that point, who cares? Julius, I never loved Sleeping Monkey. Said Phish screwed up. I haven't heard it. Would he screw up the lyrics? I'm listening. It's just started right now. And Sparkle, they kind of, they clunk around there. But then they do this Mike's Weekapog that's just like epic, right? I wrote Gloria Jam, right? When a little net, I ran on a net, Gloria, Gloria. That's what I heard. Maybe it's just they sounded similar. But in that, I mentioned this before, it's one of only 4 Mike's Weekapog, Mike's Groove, no meat in that sandwich, of all time. In fact, the first one was a week prior in Hershey, 12-1. They did Mike's Weekapog. Then they did this one. Then there's 2 others, I don't know, later on. In this one, Mike's gets 2 exclamation points. And the Weekapog, I just remember I was basically the Leo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing and snapping at the TV when they did the key change. Because I still can't hear it. Like I don't have a good ear. I don't know music enough. It sounds right to me when they're sort of jamming in the Weekapog groove. But they all know that it's not in the right. They're like kind of laughing like, this is Weekapog, but it's in the wrong key. And then they drop down, and that's when I'm like, oh, something's happening. And that I've listened to that hundreds of times. I just love everything about it, right? The fact that they were just playing with such abandon that they were like, they ended up here, like, but it's wrong. And instead of continuing to play it wrong, they're like, all right, and let's drop into the right key, and then let's tear this thing a new asshole. So fantastic musicianship and just the whole 9. This so that, I guess that takes us to backstage. You saw in the initial post Fishman's autograph. I got Fishman's autograph. Yeah. So why didn't you get Mike's autograph? Because I already got it twice on that poster right there. And my brother got their autographs. And Vespucci got their autographs on there was there was beer, Bass Ale. My brother got one of the bottle caps. Vespucci, I think, unless my brother has it now, got that signed. The 6-pack container, little cardboard thing. And it was so different than Wisconsin because no Trey, number one, no Page, still no Page backstage, but Mike and Phish come out. Mike has a banjo. Phish has a mandolin. And there's a couple of their buddies. I don't know who it was. They might have been other musicians. I don't know. And I literally, this sounds so douchey, but I was singing and playing with Phish and Mike. They were just doing like bluegrass standards, basically. I specifically remember singing Midnight Moonlight with them, harmonizing. Well, Fishman wasn't singing very well, but harmonizing with Mike and their friends playing these bluegrass songs. And that was a thrill for me. It was less personal than my first backstage experience. Remember, I talked to Trey like for 5-10 minutes. I talked to Mike for 5-10 minutes, just the two of them. This was different. There wasn't much of that. It was more of a group hang kind of thing. And I'm sure the instruments help kind of keep it that way. Maybe that's why they do that. But yeah, we did Hard Hearted, Midnight Moonlight. Those are the two I remember specifically. And, I don't know, we were back there for maybe half hour, 45 minutes. And Vespucci was just pounding beers and just being obnoxious in a good way. So that was such a cool way to end this amazing show. Unfortunately, I didn't get to that personal aspect. I would have loved to ask Mike about the pace, about the tempo of Reba and of all these other songs that they were doing, like what happened that night. So I drive my brother home, and then I was just so amped, right? Like I wasn't just going to go home and go to bed. I then hightailed it out to 139 Tyler and for a bit of a fiesta. And it was just, there was then that revelry of like, I walk in, everyone's like, yeah. And I don't even know how they knew we went backstage. I must have told them when I got there, unless Vespucci had beat us. I don't know what happened. But I specifically remember going from Niagara Falls to my parents' house to drop my brother off, then out to Buffalo just to, like I said, keep this night going. And Tyler was hopping. And what a great way to close out this. Oh, that's a long day. I must have got up at like 5 a.m. Syracuse to Buffalo, 2 pool tables, pick up my brother, show, backstage, home, Tyler, party. That's a big day. But one that will live on long after I'm gone. So up next is Cleveland. We all had to go to, a bunch of us had to go to Cleveland the next day. So I will see you guys there tomorrow.